right, I'm back. I cleaned up my mess here, and next I'm gonna try to make these cards. I love it, and I honestly cannot have enough of thank you cards. So what I'm gonna do here is make it a horizontal card. That's what I'm gonna do. This time I'm going to use some cool inks from Ultimate. From Hero Arts. I read it wrong. I apologize. This is again Hero Arts. I love their inks. Now this ink was from, as you can see, Creativity in a Box. This was from one of their monthly sets, that they have, my monthly hero set. And if you're not subscribed to it, I highly suggest you do, because it's awesome. You get a lot in it. So I'm gonna open it up and ink up the stamp. Also, I am going to use watercolor paper. And let's put it to the test. Okay. Why not? Okay. Let's see how that worked. Okay. I am going to ink it up one more time. Now, it definitely, paper makes a huge difference, I have to tell you. Okay. All right, one more time. Okay, let's see. There we go. Now, I am not impressed by the way that it looks on the watercolor paper. The watercolor paper is it's not really heavy enough. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's really not heavy enough. You can see the difference between the, you can see the difference in thickness. Absolutely, you can see. Okay, but it was worth the try. It's just the texture is different. It just doesn't seem to absorb that much ink as it should. So I would say no to watercolor paper, but I had to try. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to do this one more time. I'm going to use the same ink because I really like this. I love this ink. This is their cardstock, or Spellbinders cardstock. All right, let's give it a try. Thing that I wanted to tell you is that you can definitely tell the difference between the paper when you're putting it through the die cutting machine, because you can feel the difference in thickness. Now, here it is. Let's see. You can see a little bit of that. There's a little bit of that indentation in there. Just a little bit, not as much. And now what I'm going to do is do it one more time. Let's see the second time and how that works. All right. Now that's so much better. Look at that. I think that's pretty cool. Okay. I do like that. I really like it. Look at that. There's a little indentations in there. You can tell. I really like it. I'm going to turn these into cards. Okay, so now I am going to clean this up, and I'm going to do one more thing. And here we are. I'm going to use again this thanks. And what I am going to do this time is I'm going to use watercolor paper this time. Okay. I'm going to use the watercolor paper with their inks and see how that works. Now I am curious about that. What do you think? That's, I think, the only thing that it's left that I didn't try. We tried watercolor paper with different inks. That didn't work very well. We tried watercolor paper with the, we tried the Spellbinders paper with different inks. And now we're going to try Spellbinders ink with watercolor paper. Okay, so I inked up this plate, and now we're going to put it through the die cutting machine. Alrighty, and let's see how this turned out. See? You see, it doesn't look well with watercolor paper. I am not liking it. Okay, I'm gonna do it one more time. Now, this time, I put an extra piece of cardstock over this to see how it's going to press. I wonder if I'm gonna get too much pressure with that. Oh, now that is something really good. Look at that. Wow, now that's phenomenal. What I am going to do next is ink up this thing again, and I would like to use their cardstock to see how this looks. I'm going to use Spellbinders cardstock here, and let's see how that's going to turn out to be. Let's see. Ready for this? Ta-da! It's very pretty, but I do think that it needs more ink, so I'm going to do it again. And this is the second time around. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Oh, that is awesome. I really, really like this. But this is just absolutely beautiful. And here we are at the end of our video. And let us recap real quick. So I love the press. I think it's phenomenal. I love the detail that it leaves behind, and I love everything about it. It's just that I'm a huge fan of letterpress design, and I think that BetterPress has that potential. Now, I think that since this is the first time, I think the first release, so to speak, I'm pretty sure that Spellbinders might have some tricks in their sleeves that they're going to upgrade this and look forward to upgrading it. But until then, I think that this is a great product. I love it. It does come with this awesome tape. There is a lot of tape here. You don't need to use a lot. Little goes a long way. So that's my tip to you. I love this tape, and I'm actually curious to see if Spellbinders has more of this tape on their website. That I don't know. But if you do know, leave me a comment below. I'll be happy to find that out. And again, phenomenal tape. Now, what I found out about this press is that their inks are very, very pigmented, and they will stain the platform for sure. don't get discouraged. I don't think that's a big deal. As you probably know, dye inks usually will stain your stamps, and they will stain your stamp positioners, and it's quite normal, I should say. We are working with dark ink, so of course it's going to show. That's just perfectly normal. So if you don't like to get messy and get inky fingers, then this is not a good tool for you, or you can always use gloves if you don't like to get messy, but it is gonna become messy at some point, but not too messy. Now, another thing is that aside from being stained, one thing to keep in mind is that baby wipes will not clean it. You need something much stronger, either a stamp cleaner or rubbing alcohol. I used rubbing alcohol. I hope that's okay. I use rubbing alcohol all the time, even when it comes to my my clear stamps. Never had any issues with that. So I think that heavy plastic like this, metal plates and magnets are perfectly fine with cleaning this press. Now, here are the plates that I use. They're beautiful, very detailed. They're made out of metal. And I am actually not sure what type of metal this is. I don't think it's aluminum, because aluminum would probably bend and also would not leave as much dent. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong. But what are the stamps that I used? I used this stamp. This is, plate. I use this plate. Thanks. It's called Big Thanks. Then this little stamp here, or plate. This is the one, that comes with the press. It's a very nice and detailed stamp or plate, and that's the one that I used. This is how that one looks. Next, we used this plate. This one is called Press Bouquet, and it is so beautiful. This one, we used this ink is Distress Oxide ink. That's the one that I used to create this card, and you can see it does have a beautiful press. But what I did with this one is I stamped it twice, and this is on their paper. This is Spellbinders paper. Next thing, and of course I used this the sentiments from this set. It's called A Little Message Sentiment, and they come with coordinating dice as well. Now, another thing, what I wanted here, the big thanks, here is what we did here. This one is watercolor paper. This is Spellbinders paper. It is stamped with this ink. Now, it is a reactive ink, and I'm pretty sure that has to do something with ink properties because it stamps differently. But it still gives a much better print on Spellbinders paper rather than watercolor paper. Now, here, what we have here, you can definitely tell the difference in paper. This is Spellbinders paper. This is watercolor paper. Now, Spellbinders paper, it took me 2 tries to ink it up, and I used BetterPress ink. Now, BetterPress ink, this one that came in the kit, I don't think it's juicy enough, so I had a little bit of issue inking it up. But you can see the difference in, you can see the difference in the print. I don't know if it shows on camera, but this one is crispier and much darker. I have to say that the lines are much more pronounced. This is, again, Spellbinders paper. This is watercolor paper. With watercolor paper, I had to put an extra sheet of paper for some extra pressure to go through the machine, and that's how I got this almost flawless look. And this one, of course, did not need any extra pressure, just simple and easy put through the machine. And that's it. That's all I have for you for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this brings you much closer to the BetterPress. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer. And remember, I will do things for you so you don't have to. Thank you again. I will see you soon.